Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to the Today's Restaurant News Chapter 2 Networking Group. We are a group of vendors in the food service industry who are here to help each other grow our businesses and to help a restaurateur who might have a problem or a question that they would like to get an answer to. We have members here with hundreds of years of experience in the food service industry, as well as contacts who you don't see on screen, who can help you solve your problem. So if you'd like to reach us, give us a call at 561-620-8888 or go to our website, trnusa.com. And if you'd like to pass this meeting on to friends or colleagues, you can go to our YouTube page at Today's Restaurant. Give us a like and a subscribe so you'll know when we put up videos, which I'm planning to do more frequently. So officially, good morning. And as I said before, we have some other people who may show up, but we'll see how it goes. I think we're gonna, we'll do our intros first, and then I have a topic that it really blew my mind. And so let's start out with our intros. Remember that we're talking to the restaurants out there who may be watching. So tell us who you are, what you do, and how they can reach you. All right, so we're going to start us off with Gary.
Hey everybody, this is Gary. I'm with Global Telecom Consultants. What we do is we help streamline our clients' telecom needs, whether it be something as simple as internet connections or something as intricate as camera systems or phone systems, telecom systems. So that's what we do in a nutshell. You could reach us at 941-587-1719, or you could reach us by email at gary.shelton@telecomconsultants.net.
Do you do residential as well?
We can only do residential on a business basis. So when it comes to like internet connections, absolutely, as long as the resident owner is also a business owner and can put it under the business name.
Okay. You do the entranceway cameras?
We can, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I'll have to talk to my boss and find out.
You must be okay.
Brian's laughing because he knows my boss.
Not quite, not quite.
Hey, Terry,
Yeah.
how was the tea party?
Oh my gosh, it was so old lady-ish.
Howard, I couldn't resist.
No, it was fun. It was, she got the top of the line thing. They said, which one do you want? She said, the best you have. And believe me, I'll send you photos. It was unbelievable.
It was great, as long as I didn't have to go. All right, Chris.
Good morning, everybody.
Brian, I owe you one. Thanks for that.
Good morning, everybody. Chris Kaufman of CHRIS Kaufman and Company, primarily recruiting restaurant talent, all-star restaurant talent, since Monday, April the 6th, 1981. We solve human capital problems that companies might have. And the problem might be that they cannot find the talent they're looking for, or they've run ads on Indeed or whatever, and they're just not getting the response that they're looking for. And they can give us a profile of who they want, how much experience, how much education, how much background, are they open for relocation, et cetera, and then a salary range. And then we go out into the marketplace to bring them the capital, the human capital that they're looking for. We are based in Vidalia, Georgia. Vidalia, Georgia, often known as the vacation spot for the stars. And
And the onions.
yes, where the onions grow tall, absolutely. And it's quite an experience.
Amber waves of onions in the background. That's what it is.
Uh-huh. That's right. Yeah. The other day, they interviewed the valedictorian for the local high school. And they said, what kind of advice would you give younger students who'd like to be the valedictorian of their school? And he said, I would tell them, keep studying, because if you don't keep studying, that don't do nobody no good. That's your number one guy. Chris Kaufman presenting All-Star Talent, not that guy. Chris Kaufman, All-Star Talent, 404 All-Star, which will bring you a lot of wonderful human capital at your pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, Chris, the valedictorian, was he 6 inches taller than everybody else? That's why he was number one of the poll.
Yes, actually, that was his dad who was in the same class.
Hey, it's going to be one of those days today. I can see it. Chris, I've been reading some articles and hearing some things that the restaurant industry is hiring, not hiring, but they're growing like crazy, and they're starting to hire again, and people are starting to take jobs again. Is that right?
That is correct. And whether that also means is that salaries that were valid, say, 2 years ago are at least 15 to 20% higher now. And that's because of supply and demand. So, yeah, the demand is increasing. The supply has not increased. And so therefore, salaries are going up.
But I heard that the percentage of employees in the industry is going up, and more people are getting jobs in the industry.
Right, more people are getting jobs in the industry. It's a fun industry. It's when it's done right, and there are a lot of companies that are focused on doing it right. And there's a lot more TLC given to employees nowadays than ever before. Yeah, and they appreciate it, and they appreciate the flexibility and the scheduling. That's something that people really look for these days, as well as benefits. And but it's really positive to see, because when the pandemic hit and we went through just a glacier of closings, it's really gratifying to see the business have a boomerang effect and come back.
So maybe down the road we'll end up with some professional wait staff who have chosen that as a profession, if the wages are enough to support them.
Right.
Hey, Chris, I got a question for you. There's a lot of talk about, in California particularly, of unionizing all restaurant workers. Is that, you seeing that at all in the people you're looking at?
Not here in the Southeast United States.
Okay.
You know, it used to be California was the trendsetter for the industry, but not so much anymore. Only because there's such anti-business mentality in California versus the pro-business mentality of the Southeast United States. There's a reason the Southeast United States are attracting people who want to have freedom and people who want to grow a business and not be hammered over and over and over. The comedian Drew Carey, who's from Cleveland, he said, I tried to open a restaurant in Cleveland. It took me 1 year to get all of my paperwork signed off on by the various people in Cleveland. I tried to open one in Houston, Texas. It took a day. I mean, what's that tell you?
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I know a guy who went down to the city of Atlanta, and this is just an example of sometimes bureaucracy happens everywhere. With his blueprints and his plans for his restaurant, he said, here's what we plan to do. I need you to sign off on it. He said the man across the table literally fell asleep looking at the blueprints. I mean, it's,
Oh, no.
what are you gonna do, you know? So, I mean, but it's, that's an anomaly, thankfully, because Atlanta was built by the strength of small businesses and
Right.
also by some
Well-
very, very, very strong local leadership.
Hey, Chris, you bring up a good point about bureaucracy. There's a movement in New York State and New York City right now because the subway system in New York City is running a deficit of over $1 billion. So to fix that, they're putting I think a 3% surcharge on all corporate businesses, and they're going to start taxing things like Netflix with the sales tax. And all that money is supposed to be going to pay for the operation of the subway system in New York City.
Yeah, just like the lottery in Florida.
Yeah, and yeah, it was supposed to pay education, right? Yeah. So anyway, it's just, and one of the things that they're talking about is, I think costs $2.75 to take a ride on the subway. They wanted to raise the rate to $3 as part of this, and that got shot down by the city government because they felt it would hurt the working class people more than other people. So they couldn't raise the fee, the fee to use it. So there's going to tax 3% or 5%, whatever it is, on Netflix all across the state to pay for that, and a business tax, which is going to, and taxes on corporations are not paid by corporations. They pass that down and increase costs.
That's right.
Unfortunately.
That's exactly right. You know, it's like when Maryland decided to raise the tax on cigarettes. What did people in Maryland do when they wanted cigarettes? They went to Virginia. You know, I mean, these tax mentality, that's all they can think about. And it's unfortunate. I would not advise anybody to open a restaurant in New York right now.
Well, that's why I-95 is crowded going southbound. Every chef in New York is on his way down here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
It is true.
It is true.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, and I mean, for the first time in 170 years, California has lost population.
Right.
From one year to the other. I mean, that's, you know, and Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, has just been named the U-Haul Man of the Year.
Holy cow.
Do we have a drum roll? A drum roll for that one.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on from that one.
Ow.
But keep them coming, Chris. Keith, good morning and welcome back.
Oh, my God. Who?
Keith,
Kevin?
Keith, you're okay, Keith.
Kevin or Keith? Kevin.
What
Yeah,
you?
I'm sorry.
I thought you said.
Oh,
cheese.
my eyes are
Kevin.
bad. Well, tell Keith to
Okay.
wait. We're gonna go with Kevin.
All right. So Kevin and Heiser, we're with Propel You Forward. And basically understand that there's plenty of operational challenges that you guys face in the restaurant sector. And our primary objective is to help proactively address those issues. Some of those, for example, are helping you with ordering and loyalty programs, engaging, training, managing workers, increasing the speed of service, and improving customer experience. So we're using cloud digital transformation technologies to help drive those efficiencies into your organization. Also includes helping you with your marketing, your sales. Obviously, cybersecurity is a huge issue. And even though you may have your credit card processing provider providing you some type of network security, ultimately, the buck's going to stop at your door. So making sure that you have properly secured your network is huge. So Propel You Forward, what we do is we help you win. And I can be reached at 734-234-0208. You can call or text that number. We're on all the social medias as Propel You Forward, and that's PROPEL, the letter U, the number 4, WARD. And propellyouforward.com is also our website.
Yeah, thank you. Ed, good morning.
Good morning, Ed Gerton with Seacoast Sales in Orange Park, Florida. The number is 904-334-4489. We are an equipment company that specializes in frozen dessert equipment. We represent Carpigiani, which is batch freezers, soft serve machines, pasteurizers, whipped cream machines, ISA, which is display cases for ice cream, gelato, and pastry, and BGI, which are continuous churning ice cream machines, and Carpigiani Horeca, which is frozen dessert equipment, hot chocolate machines, and slushy machines. Again, Ed Gerton with Seacoast Sales, 904-334-4489. And last week we were talking about anybody hearing about anything at the Florida Restaurant Show, and I guess all that blew up this weekend, right? It was a fast weekend, and Seacoast will be at that show again,
Mhm.
along with
Yeah,
Howard.
I was going to mention that the last year, if you remember, for those of you who weren't there, the Florida Restaurant Show was held in early November,
Right.
and the week after was the Pizza Today Expo, and we received a notice over the weekend that those two shows are combining forces to have one show in the convention center again, fortunately. And the day after the show closes, there's going to be another show called Coffee Fest, which is also owned by the same people that run the Florida Restaurant Show. So it seems as if, I don't know who initiated the move. I think, I don't know, but it seems like a good move to get everybody under one roof at the same time instead of like divide and conquer. It's because it really it didn't work to anybody's advantage to have two shows 2 weeks in a row. So
Well, not only that, they were able to actually go back to the convention center, which is very expensive. You have two different shows. It's a whole lot easier.
well, the pizza show had the convention center. Now, I just hope that Cheney Brothers doesn't have a show at the same time as they did last year.
Yeah, but Cisco is at this show, which may defer Cheney Brothers from doing that.
Right.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that. And also, I also got word last week about the America's Food and Beverage Show, which is run by the World Trade Center of Miami, and that is being held in September at Miami Beach Convention Center. That is a show that brings in people from all over the world. You've got people coming in from Africa, from Asia, from the Caribbean, and it's a big show. I haven't been physically to that show in quite a few years, but they always have been a busy show. So hopefully post COVID, they'll get their attendance back and people will start coming in, and it's good if you got product that you could export. Has anybody ever gone to that show?
I have not. No.
But never. When's a cruise ship show? Sea Trade, I think it is. I think there's a show.
Yeah,
for the cruise
I don't know
ship.
the dates, but yeah, I don't. That also is in Miami,
Yeah, Sea Trade, I think it's called.
right?
I,
All
I've
right.
never. I've just done Florida Restaurant over the years, and occasionally gone out to the NOA, and once or twice I think I went to the one in New York, the IHMRA at the Javits Center or something. But for me, Florida Restaurant Show years ago was a big moneymaker.
Oh yeah. Yeah, at one point they had over 600 booths.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still that way. I haven't been up there probably 3 or 4 years at least. 5 years.
250 last year, I think.
Yeah. But that's why they're combining all the other shows.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But you know, my feeling has always been, and it still is, if you do business in Florida, or you want to do business in Florida,
Yeah.
that's the show to be in,
Right.
because people do still come to that show, and they will, especially this year because of the combination and the location. And it's not the opening weekend of football like they usually did.
No, but it's right in the
Or
middle
Yom
of
Kippur
hurricane
or
season.
Rosh Hashanah, they do Jewish holidays, and then nobody
Yeah.
shows up. Right, yeah.
Jewish holidays, hurricane season, you name it, we got it.
Well, we had a hurricane last year, the week after the FRLA show.
I
That
know.
was for the pizza show, and that was in
Oh.
November. So hopefully not this year. All right, moving on. Then. Rick, good morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well today. Rick Israel with Affiliate Health Insurance. We are an independent insurance agency that helps owners of restaurants that may have 10, 15 employees with their benefits by getting group health insurance benefits along with ancillary products as per se, like long-term disability, short-term disability, stuff like that. We also do Medicare insurance. So if a restaurant owner has individuals who are ready to retire and they need assistance moving from the group insurance space to the Medicare space, we can help them with that as well. Located in Huntsville, Alabama, but I am also licensed in Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and now Mississippi. So we are consistently growing, but glad to be here. If I can be of any help, let me know.
Okay, how do we reach you? How can we reach you, Rick?
You can reach me at area code 256-937-2537 is the office, and 256-698-8774 is my cell.
Okay, thank you. Brian, good morning.
Morning, everybody. Brian with Rogue Financial Group. We are a commercial equipment financing company. We work all over the country, from startups to existing businesses, franchises, breweries, convenience stores. We also do what we call yellow iron, which is construction equipment, but I mainly focus on the hospitality side. Like I said, we've been around for about 15 years, and we provide commercial equipment financing. So when I say that, it's all different types of equipment. I work with Ed on some stuff, some equipment. I'm just getting ready. I've been doing a lot of work with the food trailers. I was going to send you some contact, Howard, that you can reach out to them. There's 2 new franchises that I'm working with. They're out of Atlanta, and I was hoping that this guy would have come on. He does a gelato, and I talked to Ed about it on recipes. And they might need some equipment, and there's another one that's doing bubble tea, but I'll send you that contact. Again, Brian with Rogue Financial Group, commercial equipment financing. I can be reached at 404-723-7222.
Okay, thanks. Joe Cregan, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Cregan with Card Payment Services, just west of Fort Lauderdale Airport in Davie, Florida. I represent Clover POS, Clover and the Delaware POS system. Been selling POS to the hospitality industry in Florida since 1989. My company's been around since 2016. We support about 750 locations, and mostly in Florida, and mostly restaurants. So we sell Clover and the Delaware POS systems, and we integrate Fiserv, which used to be First Data Payment Processing, with it. And in some cases, we also resell and integrate ADP payroll processing. So basically, we do POS, payments, and payroll, and all from a one-stop shop. You can reach me at 954-635-5044. And my website is www.cardpaymentservices.net. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Steve Whitehill, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Whitehill. I'm a business broker. I help people buy and sell businesses of all sorts. I have, today I have, believe it or not, 74 restaurants for sale just in the Broward County, Florida. All sorts. Let me give you an example of one. I have a Japanese restaurant for sale. It's got 2 locations, and it has it does sales of just under $1.3 million. And on that, on those sales, it earns the discretionary earnings, or what the owner takes home. What we like to call owner benefit is $260, almost $2,000. And their asking price is $950,000, and they'll give you a loan for $200,000, the seller financing. So there are all sorts of very interesting restaurants and other things available. And by the way, I have almost 20 restaurants available that essentially are closed. So you can go in there, redo it to a certain extent, but it reduces your cost of build out, and you're ready to go. Steve Whitehill, Anchor Business Brokers. You can reach me at 561-376-7500, or you can email me at Steve, STEVE, at anchorbb.com. Thank you.
Hey, and how about your friend Firefly?
My friend Firefly, he has no comment. Or
That's
maybe
like,
he has no comment.
remember Groucho Marx with Professor Firefly? That's what I thought it was. All right, Terry, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I have to answer calls when it has to do with business. Sorry, guys. Today's restaurant news. I take care of the leads report that you get monthly, and there are lots of them. We have them all the way back for the last 5 or 6 years, which some people have just gotten, actually, which is a lot of work, but they want to know if the restaurants are still open and happy with their providers, which a lot of them are not. So we get calls back to say, thank you so much. We just got a huge account. They didn't like their PC provider. They didn't like whatever. These leads come out by the 9th in an Excel spreadsheet. So you can go ahead and just delete what you want, sell half of it to your partner, whatever you want to do. There's about 80 new leads, and I can very confidently say I would say for the last 3 months, there's been about 80. So things are growing here in Florida. There's a ton of new stuff coming in. I can't even, it's crazy. They are coming in. They're coming in by groves. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Tom Practice Group. Yeah. Well, he just completely, he just completely sold out that new Boca, what's it called, Howard? Boca, over there across from
Restaurant Row.
Oh, by the mall, next to the mall. Yeah.
Completely sold out. It's all fully leased now with the high-end steakhouse. We also have Gallagher's finally from New York coming in on Glades Road. That just happened to where
Did it
it
open?
was supposed to be, but it is now a done deal. Paperwork's done, and they're starting construction as we speak. So if anybody wants a sample report, let me know. I'll go ahead and send it out. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Okay. I didn't miss anybody, right? Except me. All right. I'm Howard Appel. I'm the founder and publisher of Today's Restaurant News. We are a trade newspaper since 1996. And I want to again bring up this point about the ERC, because I believe somebody said this week that this is the last year that it's going to be available. I don't know for sure. I haven't been officially notified, but any restaurateur who may be watching this and has not applied for it, this is not a loan. This is money that you are entitled to get back from the IRS if you have paid your employees during 2020 and 21. And all you have to do is you can contact Chris Kaufman, you can contact Joe Cregan, you can go to my website, and on the website, you'll see a red bar at the top. It says ERC funds. Fill out a short form and somebody will get back to you and walk you through the process. It is no money up front. It's, as I said, it's not a loan. It's something that why leave the money on the table? You might as well take it. And that's my story.
Okay.
And if you want to reach us, it's 561-620-8888.
And don't forget to let everyone know that next week you will be broadcasting from another state.
You just did.
I didn't say where.
Yeah, we will be broadcasting live from outside of Nashville. Okay.
That went well.
Howard, are you gonna be having your cowboy hat on? Your country and western boots on? Or no, that Terry,
Oh.
you'll have the boots on.
Next week,
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
next week they
will.
put boots on. Yeah.
knee
He
high.
will. He'll have his hat and boots on for the party. I guarantee it. And I will get a picture for you.
Y'all come back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
sounds really good with your New York accent.
I want to. We have a couple of minutes. We could talk about this. This is something that I read this week that really intrigued me. You know, we've spoken about employee retention many times here, and that's an ongoing problem. But what we didn't talk about very much, and maybe never, is customer retention.
Mhm.
And the headline of this article is study finds only 1 in 5 guests return within 12 months. Then that number blows my mind. And because it's a little misleading, because if you take a restaurant like, let's say, Cracker Barrel, which is on every exit of every highway in the United States, and if you're traveling from Los Angeles to Michigan, you're bound to pass a Cracker Barrel, and at least one meal you'll stop in there. So the return to that restaurant is going to be very low, or lower than others, because people are in transit. So take that away. One in 5 customers will return within a year. Then they give conflicting reports here. They're saying 1 in 5 customers return within 1 year. That's not very high. 17% of first-time guests return to that restaurant in the next 12 months. These are interesting numbers. One is first-time guests and one is repeat customers. In other words, if you live in a neighborhood and there's a restaurant in your neighborhood that you go to in 2021, 17% of those people will return in 22 or 23.
I think it depends on the check average.
I agree with you.
I mean,
Yes, definitely.
there's people that eat it. Well, when I used to run a Red Lobster, there was a couple, a lot of times, they would make it an event every Friday night.
Yeah.
I mean, and same thing. I'm sure Cracker Barrel experiences the same thing, and
Mhm.
you know, but if you get into the $150 per couple check average, then it becomes a special occasion restaurant
Yeah.
as opposed to an any occasion restaurant.
Absolutely.
Well, so the question remains, how do you increase your customer retention?
And I'll charge $150 a couple.
But what can be done? And I'm going to give you some examples. This is from 4 different categories. The the rewards card and the rewards programs seem to help that number a little bit. Here, for example, if you could see it, this is a rewards card
Or Duffy's, yeah.
from Duffy's. When you go there, they put your bill, the total of your bill on the card, and they give you X amount of dollars, and you accumulate points, and you get $5 or $10 back after a certain amount of time. Here's another one. This is an ice cream parlor,
Yeah.
Aprendiz, and every time you go, they stamp your card, and if you get 10, you get the 11th one free.
Hey, Howard, you go to Brendy's down in Boca Raton, no,
Yeah.
Boynton Beach, right?
No, Boca.
I thought it was in Boynton Beach.
There are several locations.
Was it Linton Boulevard? I thought they had one on Linton Boulevard at one time. Yeah.
I'm familiar with the one in Boynton Beach.
They
I
have 2 or 3. The one in Boca is the most expensive by $1 more a cup.
Yeah.
We know
And
the owner, and
Shocking.
here's Speedway gasoline. You use your card, you again accumulate points, and at some point they give you X amount of cents off of a gallon, your gallon of gas. And then this is a chain out of a local chain out of New York that has one location here. It's a deli,
Yeah.
and they have a card as well. So the point I'm trying to make was with these cards, that's one way to keep people coming back to your restaurant. So my question is, what are some other ways that restaurants can do to keep people coming back? I have some thoughts.
don't lie.
So I can just speak to my personal experience. I mean, we go back to places for 3 reasons: food, service,
Right,
and the environment.
right.
And
Yes.
and for me personally, and for people that I hang out with, and even for the stores that we help manage, it's not so much. And again, it depends on the generation. The younger generation's all about, apps and discounts and
Yeah.
frills and thrills. But so it really depends, what your audience is. If it's broad, then it's a little bit tougher because you have to really address each audience for that. But still, quality of food and service are always the top 2. So we might go back someplace if we get bad food more than once in a row, or bad service more than once in a row. We're not going back at least for a while. So I think if you're a restaurant owner, I mean, if you're focusing on 2 of the 3, usually you're going to keep your guest. But if there's a repetitive drop in one of the qualities of 2 of those 3, you're typically not coming back. And then you have to work on how do we get that customer back into our door. And that's where we find, trying to create incentives around bringing them back, whether it's creating something new or just, and it depends how well you do as a restaurant and tracking, why your customers coming to you in the first place, right? If you really don't know why they're coming, it's hard to manage their expectations. Just like anything else, it's if you're not collecting information in some form or fashion,
Yes.
you're really shooting in the dark. So we find that some of the tools we use help restaurant owners garner that type of data so that they understand who's coming, why they're coming, and why they're not coming.
Kevin, I tell you, one of the things,
Absolutely right.
I look at, food options. Obviously, I mean, we've got all the regulars everybody else does. We have a Cracker Barrel, and we've got, Burger King, McDonald's. It's always the same food. Everybody's trying to change up the menu to try and get people to come in. I mean, I heard now that in the UK, McDonald's is now adding the chicken Big Mac, but it's only in Europe. It's not going to be in the States. But I look mainly at service. Okay. And it's because I come from the service industry. I've always been in retail, and now I'm a consultant. So I look at how am I approach when I first walk in the restaurant. because the first impression can make everything. I've always been taught that your workers are a image of the one running the restaurant. Okay, so if the hostess doesn't care, the host doesn't care, the server doesn't care, then the manager doesn't care. So that's where it's got to start. It's got to roll downhill. And, you know, I heard that April, my wife, was watching something saying that they should not tip servers, that they should be able to live on $2.50 an hour, that why should we tip somebody when it's their job to do what they're doing? And when I tip based on service. If you give me poor service, your tip is lower. If you give me good service, tip is better. I mean, that's just the way I've always done it. But I think it comes to service. We go to a restaurant here in Huntsville called City Cafe. And there's a young lady that is an immigrant that lived in Moldova. When we go to that restaurant, if she's not working, we don't eat. Because we enjoy talking to her. She gives good service. She takes care of our needs, and we tip her. And that's what it is. I think it boils down to customer service.
Well, you know, management has to recognize who they're hiring when
Yeah.
they hire a service or a hostess. But you have to hire people that are people. You can't hire somebody that hates people.
Well,
You-
people put
but-
on shows when they're trying to be hired. They're not the real
Yeah.
people sometimes.
Exactly, because anybody can walk in, anybody can put on a shirt and tie.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And give this image, and they can make a resume look really, really good.
right,
Because they got
right.
somebody else to write it for them, and then 3 months later, they've got 20 complaints in 3 months.
You've got to watch your employees for at least a few weeks, just
Yeah.
without them knowing about it, just to see how they're behaving. But I think the first thing when you walk into a restaurant for me is cleanliness. If I look
Mhm.
around and there are 4 or 5 tables that are not bussed and there's people talking, I'm out of there. I don't even care. I don't.
You know,
It's
you know what the first thing is for me when I walk into a restaurant? Not a big chain operation, but you know, like let's say a pizzeria where you could see all the tables from the front door.
Yeah.
If the back table towards the kitchen has an aiding machine on it, and there's all kinds of papers,
hmm
and looks like somebody's office was placed there, that to me is an immediate sign that this is not going to be a good experience.
Hey,
You know?
Howard, that's 90% of Asian restaurants now, especially private owned ones, because that's where they work. They want to see, and I kid you not, because everyone I go to, I asked one of them, I said, why do you sit here? She goes, because I want to be able to see what's going on. I can't watch my employees and do my job from an office in the back.
Right.
Well, I can understand that, but if you're hiring the right employees, you shouldn't have to worry about how the restaurant's being run.
Well, you can do that with cameras, or you can do that with a window in the office.
You always got to worry about your employees.
Hey, you know,
Disagree.
there's another thing that's you know, not so much fine dining, you know, but like, you know, like places like Cracker Barrel or Independence, you know, like, you know, cleanliness is important, and service is great. But when you ask somebody on the menu, you know, about an item that you might want to purchase, now I don't want to hear, well, personally, I don't eat meat, or I don't know about it. I've never tried it. Don't you think that maybe some of these, the owners would say, hey, why don't you try the food? So when a customer asks you, you know, is that good or is that bad, or or indifferent, you know? So, you know, you ask, you know, most of these kids today, you know, I don't eat meat. So, but why you eating here? You know, like Texas Roadhouse. I asked somebody there, you know, is the ribeye good? Well, I don't eat meat. I'm like, okay.
Oh, ask Howard. He eats that ribeye all the time.
Hey, Brian,
That's his favorite place to go for ribeye. Loves it.
Brian, it's interesting you say that, because when April started working at Publix in the deli, during the orientation, they made him try each type of meat.
Yeah,
And the individual, and when
Ew.
April had to, then April got to the head cheese and she just, she had
Yeah.
to eat it because it was required. But the thing is it gives them the knowledge of saying, okay, this has a
Yeah.
sharp cheddar taste. This has a mild cheddar
Yeah.
taste. you
it
know?
doesn't have to be meat. It could be like a salad, or it could be, I mean, it could be the vegetables, you know. But when somebody says, you know, never tried it, I'm like, okay, well, whatever, you know. But you know, kind of
So did you ever say, did you ever hear anybody say to a waiter or a waitress, you know, I'm trying to decide between A and B. Which one do you like? What do you care what they like? They don't
Yeah.
have the same taste as who knows what, you know, what they like.
Yeah.
They could be
Yeah, but
eating roadkill.
I wish y'all would quit talking about Cracker Barrel because today is Fish Friday. And they have the best tartar sauce and fish on
Hey,
the
Howard.
planet.
Hey, Howard, after your 11 o'clock meeting, I know where you guys are going for lunch today.
Every Friday.
Take care, guys.
That's how I
Yeah,
earn my
Steve.
Bye-bye,
keep.
Steve.
But
See you,
let me
Steve.
just all right. Just one last thing. Kevin brought up the quality of the food. I'm sorry Steve left, but occasionally in Steve's groups that he runs, we meet in person at a country club and for lunch. And the quality of the food that they serve there and the volume of the food that they serve there is so intense that everybody looks forward to going, and it brings people in, it brings people back. So the quality of the food, the service, the cleanliness, and some other items that we haven't even discussed will help people retain their customers. And I'll put a period on the meeting because it's after 10.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you all next week from Nashville. And
Barry, can you hang on?
yeah, anybody wants to
course.
stay on, we'll keep the window open.
Okay.
All right, have a great weekend.
Hey,
Hey,
Jerry,
hey,
you-
Hey,